Hi, I'm John Alzheimer, a credit expert who contributes to CreditCardInsider.com. And today's question is this. I'm hearing a lot about chip and PIN credit cards. Is that really the future of credit cards? So a chip and PIN credit card is very different than the current magnetic stripe credit card that we use today. Today, the credit cards you use likely have a black magnetic strip along the back of it, and embedded on that strip is all of the credit card information. And when you go to a merchant or retailer and swipe the card, the information is taken off that magnetic strip in order to process the transaction. Unfortunately, it's not a terribly secure technology, and using a pretty basic piece of hardware called a skimmer, fraudsters can actually steal the information off of this magnetic strip and clone a new credit card with your information and then go out and use it fraudulently. For those of you who may recall, in November and December of 2013, Target Retail Store's database was breached, and there was a renewed discussion about the urgency or the need for chip and PIN credit card technology. Now, chip and PIN is not new. It's actually very common in Europe. It's just not very common in the United States. We do not have the infrastructure to be able to widely accept the chip and PIN technology. The primary difference between chip and PIN and then the magnetic stripe technology is this, is that rather than having all of the credit card information on this magnetic stripe, all of the information regarding your credit card is actually embedded in a microchip that's actually a part of your credit card. And then when you go to check out at a retailer or a merchant, the scanner essentially at the checkout line will read the chip, and then when you enter the PIN, it helps to complete the transaction. Think of how some of you use debit cards where you have to enter a PIN, and that's likely how it's going to work for you when you're using a chip and PIN card. It's very likely that within the next couple of years, many retailers will move away from the magnetic stripe type of technology and start accepting chip and PIN, because it does in fact help to minimize the risk for fraud. It's very difficult to clone a chip and PIN credit card versus a magnetic stripe credit card. So the future of credit cards appears to be chip and PIN. And when I say the future, we're likely talking at least 2 to 3 years before there's critical mass of infrastructure for retailers to accept these types of cards. Now, for those of you who have had their credit cards stolen in the past or have had the information off of the magnetic stripe stolen by a fraudster using a skimmer, you probably realize fairly quickly that other than a little bit of inconvenience, you don't have a whole lot of exposure to fraud. The Fair Credit Billing Act, which is a federal statute, limits your liability for credit card fraud to no more than $50. So if I were to steal your credit card and go out and rack up $500 worth of charges, federal law prohibits the bank from causing you to be liable for more than $50. And even on top of that, all 4 of the major credit card networks, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express, have zero liability policies on top of the Fair Credit Billing Act. And so essentially, your liability is zero. So again, except for a little bit of inconvenience, it's unlikely that you are going to have to come out of pocket if anyone ever steals the information off of your credit card or steals the actual physical card. We don't know if that is going to change with the chip and PIN technology, and here's why. There is discussion of the credit card issuers attempting to transition liability for fraudulent use of a chip and PIN card off of their shoulders and onto the consumer's shoulders. And here's why. If someone uses your magnetic stripe card fraudulently, it's not because you were irresponsible. However, if someone uses a chip and PIN card fraudulently, it's because you either gave them the PIN or you did not secure the PIN in such a way that they couldn't find it. So even though chip and PIN is a more secure technology, it doesn't necessarily offer you, the card holder, any more protection than federal law already offers you with the current mag stripe type of technology. So I guess the takeaway is that the grass isn't necessarily greener on the other side of chip and PIN. So you will likely have to convert to it someday, and when we do, be very, very careful to keep the PIN very secure so that you don't have to become liable, essentially, for any fraudulent use of your new chip-in PIN card, which does seem to be the future of cards in the United States. If you have any questions pertaining to credit or any other financial topics, please submit them to creditcardinsider.com. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.